This is the Roomba i7 Plus. Technically this is the i7 and this is the Plus. Doesn't matter. I think it's one of the best Roombas available right now, and I just wanted to make a quick review talking about why. No, unfortunately it doesn't come with the R2-D2 skin. I found that on eBay, and I'll share a link to where I got that. I previously had a kind of an entry-level Roomba from 2015. It did okay. It wasn't smart. It would wander around randomly, but on average, if I ran it every day for a week, it would generally clean up most of the dust on the floor. My biggest gripe with it was it wasn't a completely automated solution. You did have to empty the bin pretty frequently, and the biggest thing that they solved with this is this base. So the way that this works is the Roomba, when it's done cleaning, it drives up to here, and there's a vacuum built in that just sucks out all the contents of the bin. And then it deposits it in one of these little bags here. Honestly, I've had this for 8 months now, and I have not had to empty this bag out once. Granted, I live in a pretty small apartment, I don't have any pets, but still, it's pretty impressive. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the price, where you can find the best price for it, the specs, how well it cleans, and some of the integrations like Google Home and Amazon Echo. So in terms of price, the bad news is this is an expensive Roomba. When it first came out in 2018, it cost $1,000. The current retail price is $800. But the good news is it's been out for 2 years, and so you are able to find it refurbished and on sale. I was able to get this refurbished off of Amazon for about $650. There's a website that I recommend called camelcamelcamel.com that is a price tracker for Amazon and third parties. It gives you an idea of whether the price is at a historic low for the product, and you can also sign up for notifications for when it enters a price range that you're looking for. Alright, let's talk some anatomy. Up at the very top we have this thing called the Archon, or the room confinement sensor. This is to allow it to detect the home base, and also these virtual walls that you can set up that basically tell the Roomba to not clean in a certain area. To be honest, I've never used this. I used to use them with my old Roomba, but I haven't had to use it with this one because the mapping is so good on this that you can define your barriers within the app itself. It does come with one of these, but again, I've never used it. There's this handle here for carrying it. There's a home button to send it back to the home base. There's the clean button to set it off for a cleaning cycle manually. There's a spot clean button. I recommend just having a vacuum for spot cleaning because this is not great for that. There's the camera. I'll talk more about this later, but it helps it with navigation. And then it has these bumpers, and so it's able to gently bump into objects, and then it knows when it needs to turn around. On the bottom here, there are several infrared sensors here, 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 and here. It's a cliff detection system. It helps it to not fall down the stairs, which is what you want when you just spent $1,000 on a Roomba. These are the two charging nodes. This is the rotating brush. This is also replaceable. They give you an extra one in the box. This is so that it can sweep in the dust into its path when it's on the edge of something, like a wall or a piece of furniture. I think this detects whether there's carpet or wood floors and helps it to change its behavior based on that. These brushes are really nice. They're rubberized. The previous Roomba that I had it had like actual brushes, and you would get hair and stuff stuck in those and you had to untangle it. These, I've never had anything stuck in them, so I really appreciate that. You can pull them out and clean them, or you can replace them if you need, but I've had them for 8 months now and they're very sturdy. And there's even on this cute little brush that's a static discharge brush. Apparently as this thing's driving around, it picks up a lot of static electricity, and so this helps it to discharge so it doesn't electrocute itself. Very nice. Here's the bin. This bin, you usually won't have to take this out. You can see where the base hooks up to it to suck out all the dirt. The one thing you will have to do is, these filters are not cleanable here. The Roomba comes with a couple filters. To replace them, you can clean this bin, but you can't wash these filters, so you will have to replace these every so often. I was able to go about 6 months without replacing mine. It's really easy to replace them. You just pull this out, put in a new one, and you're good to go. The filters, the official ones cost about $24 for a 3-pack, but there's third parties all over the place that make them for a lot cheaper. And then you can see that the clearance is pretty good on here. And then the wheels they have some mini shock absorbers. I found that this does sometimes get stuck on things, but not as frequently as my other one did. It does a pretty good job generally. You can see with the R2-D2 skin that the buttons don't completely line up, and there were a couple places where I needed to cut. I shopped around for a little bit on eBay, and this was the only one I was able to find. It's for the Roomba 980, and it does work pretty well. But if you find one for the actual i7 Plus, as I was unable to, please share a link to it, and I'll update to point people to that instead. But overall, it looks pretty good. It's pretty close. The 980 and the i7 Plus are not that dissimilar. Overall, I've been really pleased with how well the i7 cleans. Initially, when it runs the first few times, it's developing a map of your space, but once that's done, the app will show you the map, and it's able to guess pretty well where the rooms are, but you can adjust those room boundaries within the app. And then once that's done, and it knows the rooms, you can tell it to clean in a specific room, like the living room or the bedroom, and it will just clean there and return back to the dock. The i7 is able to store 10 different floor plans, so hypothetically, if you lived in a 10-story house, you could carry it upstairs and it would remember where it was. Overkill for most people, but it's still a convenient option to have if you live in a multi-story house where you just have it run on one floor and then you can carry it up to the next one and it'll remember the unique layout of that floor. Since it's just a few inches off the ground, it's able to get into some spots that you might miss if you were just manually vacuuming. The room is able to run for about 60 to 90 minutes on a full charge. It takes about 2 hours to recharge. If the cleaning cycle doesn't complete within that 60 to 90 minutes, it'll stop and dock itself and then recharge, and it'll resume right where it left off. My apartment's 650 square feet, and on average takes about half an hour to clean. It does occasionally get stuck on things. For this video, I scattered a bunch of iPhone charging cables in front of it.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
And one of them got pulled up into the brush system and jammed up there. So you generally want to make sure that your floor is free of cables and debris that might get stuck. The one area where it is weak is spot cleaning. If I have a choice between just grabbing a handheld vacuum and vacuuming up a spot, or picking up the Roomba, carrying it all the way over to where I need, setting it up to spot clean, and then sending it back to the dock, it's just easier to grab the vacuum. As we saw earlier, when it's done cleaning, it empties out the bin into the bag. The one recurring cost is gonna be the bags. You can't reuse the bags or clean them out. I found that they run about $15 for 6 of them if you buy them through a third party, and so they're really reasonably priced. If you live in a small space like I do and you don't have pets, you're probably gonna go a long time without having to change those. The app itself is really nice, has a bunch of features, does everything from emptying the bin, managing the schedule, kicking it off manually in one room or in all the rooms, changing the room boundaries, setting areas where the Roomba shouldn't clean. You can even locate it if it gets stuck somewhere. You can press a button on the app and it'll start beeping the robot so you're able to find it. And now, to save the best for last, the smart home integration. The i7 integrates really seamlessly with Google Home and the Amazon Echo. I have Google Home and I'll walk you through the process for setting that up, but it's gonna be really similar for the Amazon ecosystem. So essentially you just pop open the iRobot app, you go to the settings, link your Google account, you pick a room for it, and that's it. And it's all set up. And then you can do cool stuff like, hey, blah blah, clean my house.
Sure, starting R2.
What a time to be alive, am I right? Thanks for watching this review. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer all those. This is my new quarantine hobby, making these videos, and I'm really enjoying it. So if there's anything you'd like to see, or if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, please hit subscribe. And thanks again. Bye.